Hi, Case. I thought I would read a story to you, and I'm going to read it to you out of this old book that I had when I was a little boy, and I read it to your mom and to Uncle Paul and Uncle Ben. I read stories out of it to all of them, and so I'm going to read this to you. And if Cooper and Annie want to listen, they can too. And this is a story called Johnny Cake. There's not a lot of pictures, but I'll show you the ones that we do have. It's not real long. Once upon a time, there was an old man and an old woman and a little boy. One morning, the old woman made a Johnny cake and put it in the oven to bake. "You watch the Johnny cake while your father and I go out to work in the garden." So the old man and the old woman went out and began to hoe potatoes and left the little boy to tend the oven. But he didn't watch it all the time. And all of a sudden, he heard a noise. And he looked up, and the oven door popped open, and out of the oven jumped Johnny Cake and went rolling along end over end towards the open door of the house. The little boy ran to shut the door, but Johnny Cake was too quick for him and rolled through the door, down the steps, and out into the road long before the little boy could catch him. The little boy ran after him as fast as he could clip it, crying out to his father and mother, who heard the uproar, threw down their hoes, and they gave chase too. But Johnny Cake outran all three along the way, and was soon out of sight, while they had to sit down all out of breath on a bank to rest. But on went Johnny Cake, and by, but first I'm going to show you this picture. Here is Johnny Cake running with everybody chasing after him. But he's too fast. He runs like Cason. So on ran Johnny Cake, and by he came to On ran Johnny Cake, and he came, to two ditch diggers who were digging a ditch. "Where are you going, Johnny Cake? Where are you going so fast?" they said. And he said, "I've outrun an old man and an old woman and a little boy. And I can outrun you, too." "Oh, you can ye? We'll see about that," said they. And they threw down their spades, which are like shovels, and ran after him. But Johnny Cake soon outran them also, and seeing they could never catch him, they gave up the chase and sat down to rest. But on went Johnny Cake, and by he came to a bear. And the bear said, "Where you going, Johnny Cake?" And he said, "I've outrun an old man and an old woman and a little boy and two ditch diggers, and I can outrun you too." "You can you?" growled the bear. "Well, we'll have to see about that." And he trotted as fast as his legs could carry him after Johnny Cake, who never stopped to look behind him. Before long, the bear was left so far behind that he saw he might as well give up the hunt, first as last. So he stretched himself out by the roadside to rest. So there is the bear resting. You thought the bear was going to get him, didn't you? So on went Johnny Cake, and by he came to a fox that lay quietly in a corner of the fence. The fox called out in a sharp voice, but without getting up, "Where you going, Johnny Cake?" And he said, "I've outrun an old man and an old woman and a little boy, 2 ditch diggers, a bear, and I can outrun you too." And the fox said, "I can't quite hear you, Johnny Cake. Won't you come a little closer?" Johnny Cake stopped his race for the first time, and he went a little closer and called out in a very loud voice, "I've outrun an old man and an old woman and a little boy and 2 well diggers and 2 ditch diggers and a bear, and I can outrun you too." Here's a picture of him calling out to the wolf. What do you think's going to happen? "I can't quite hear you. Won't you come just a little closer?" said the fox in a feeble voice as he stretched out his neck towards Johnny Cake and put one paw behind his ear. So Johnny Cake came close, and leaning towards the fox, he screamed out, "I've outrun an old man and an old woman and a little boy and 2 well diggers and a bear, and I can outrun you too." "You can you?" yelped the fox, and he snapped up the Johnny Cake in his sharp teeth in the twinkling of an eye. That's the end of the story. I've got one little poem to read to you. It's The Goops. "The Goops, they lick their fingers, and the Goops, they lick their knives. They spill their broth on the tablecloth. Oh, they lead disgusting lives. The Goops, they talk while eating, and loud and fast they chew, and that is why I'm glad that I am not a Goop. Are you?" So those are my stories for today. If you liked these, let me know, and maybe I'll read another one for you next week. And if you don't like them, well, hope you still have a good day. We'll see you.